to kind of recap where we left off, we have some new people. We sent this out, we worked on the draft at our last meeting for policy 3501. It was requested that I send this out to Amy White, which is our Idaho state attorney, and then also Megan O'Dowd, which is a local attorney. So you guys have a copy of where it starts with Lisa. That is Amy White's response, and then when we pull up the draft policy, you'll be able to see Megan O'Dowd's comments. She put them actually in the policy. And then we did have one of our committee members, patrons that have been participating. She reached out to Kate Hartley, and so that's her response as well. So we did hear from 3 different attorneys. And then additionally in front of you, you have this long list. I think we had 39 responses from the survey. So we are still currently working on 3501, and once we finalize this one, we'll move to the next one, which is specific to PTU and boosters policy 4200, and hopefully we can finalize those so that we can take it to the board for approval. So where would we like to start? Do you want to look at Megan's comments through the draft, or do you want to start with the policy, the survey comments?
Well, I was just skimming through the survey comments.
Okay.
Has everybody read what Amy White wrote?
Not yet, working on it now.
Okay, so why don't we take just a moment
Okay.
to let everybody get through that.
I finished this, I read this. I just haven't finished this portion. Any other, so I read Kate Hartley, then this is Amy White's, and did the other lawyers provide feedback in writing?
Megan did. It's in the draft policy though.
Okay.
There wasn't any way for me to print it with her comments included. It kept kicking them out.
So this is Amy, and then who's this?
That's Amy.
That's Amy, okay.
Megan's is included in the draft policy.
Oh, okay.
Nope, that's the things to consider, so the next one over. Right there. Just to let it refresh. Do you have the right one up? Will you go to the July?
Let's see, hold on a second, let me check something.
I don't know if you pulled up the right one, because it
It
should.
says request edit.
Yeah, I don't think it's the right one, because you should be able to have access, because we worked on it last time.
Okay, so.
See right there? Yep, and then will you go to draft policy mental health? Up, right there. And then it should be.
Oh.
Just click the heading.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's when I clicked.
Yeah, request edit to access.
Why is it not? It's not doing it.
What is that down there, things to consider?
That's.
Oh, something else
the
with
other
the doctor.
Yeah, that's this thing.
I'll redo it, I don't know if it worked really good when I tried it.
Okay.
That's the one you pulled up too. I don't know why it's not working then.
back of, was this page 1, so page 2 it states patron input.
Uh-huh.
Is that separate from the survey?
Mhm. Somebody else just sent me input and
Oh, okay.
it's something with this computer, it's not letting me access the comments, cause on here, it's the same draft, and it's all here, but it won't let me, I relinked it in and everything, and it's not coming up on this computer.
So if you go to the view and make sure that the view is set to, be able to look at the, so, who are you logged in on that computer?
The clerk.
Oh,
But it shows her on here, and she has access, like in. So I'm gonna will you refresh it and see if I just re-gave access and see if it'll pop up now? Okay, now it is.
there you go.
It,
There we go.
that was so weird. I think it's the right one, it worked. Okay. Craig, I don't mess with the spreadsheet, so I just, if somebody emails me comments, then I just.
You just
jump
put it
in.
on.
And those actually came before, we did the survey.
Okay, thank you. It just wasn't clear to me, so.
Those are her comments, those are the survey comments. And this is just our overview, and then right now we're looking at, Megan Down gave her comments as well. Okay. Which is the second attorney that we were gonna look at. Right. And talk to.
I apologize, Lynn, the printout that you offered me, does that include Megan's comments? or-
I can't, it won't print for me. I tried multiple ways, which is why I didn't make extra copies, cause I can't print it.
Okay, no problem.
But do you wanna look at it on my computer?
Are we gonna review it as a group?
I think so.
I'll just wait till
Okay,
then.
yeah, that's fine.
I tried to print it, I tried multiple ways and I could
I
not
should
get
have
it.
my laptop, but.
Could not
wasn't
get it
there.
to print. It just erased all the comments when I printed it, so
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that'd be helpful.
Google Docs sometimes is fun.
It would not work.
Okay, so has everyone finished reading, Amy White's, information that she provided?
Yes.
Okay. And you'll do your.
I'm a fast reader.
Okay. We're
I'm
gonna,
a fast reader.
we're gonna go ahead and read what Megan wrote. I do think that's a good comment. that the providers are not employees of the district. And that the services are not being offered or provided by the district directly. Or okay, so,
And just for my education, we have two attorneys, or who is Megan and who is Amy?
Megan O'Dowd is our local representation here in North Idaho.
Okay,
Amy White is the attorney for ICRIMP down in Boise.
is the attorney for,
ICRIMP, which is our liability insurance.
I see, okay, perfect.
It's probably a good perspective to have.
She's kind of the lead attorney for most districts,
Yeah.
that's their go-to person
Yeah.
Okay,
on all things education.
And what's Kate Hartley's experience with education policy
I have no idea, I don't
or
know
mental
her.
health counseling?
That's all she does is education. She's the Pacific Justice Institute, yeah, that's all she does is
Yeah.
education nationwide.
I don't know anything about her.
I think it's a good comment that Megan makes here.
I agree with the recommendation. It speaks to some of my comments from the last session I attended, which is the language very much makes it seem as though they are employees in effect if we're.
So how do we wanna change this paragraph? Or do you wanna just go through everything first and then just go line by line after that?
Or let's go on the asparagus.
Okay.
I will do this. Just let me know what we did. 'Cause I like to take the credit.
Or contracted by the parents or legal guardian.
Um, services. Oops. Governance not the right word.
What is it you're trying to convey, and maybe we can help you with the wording?
Well, the fact that, I mean, they're not employees, and so in a sense, their work product has nothing to do with the district. What they're doing is, their services are not protected or are not.
We just copy what she says.
I mean, I would have an
Yeah,
issue with what she said.
Providers are not employees of the district, and the services are not being offered or provided by the district directly, but are merely available for direct consulting or counseling with third-party providers. So just take out her that's and other things.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Dr. Yeager,
Yep.
provides services for students with braces on campus at the middle school. What's the policy around that?
We don't have one.
Okay.
Do we have a contract with them or an MOU?
We've never seen one.
Didn't know they were doing that.
I've seen the van there, but I don't know who gave them permission. I'm assuming the district did, but I don't know.
No, so we would have no liability coverage whatsoever.
So it's the same case here.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we're gonna write a policy on that?
So basically, you
Well, we
can
should.
just quickly
should, right?
state
I mean,
it
we set a
and it's
precedent
kinda
here.
done.
Correct.
Well, this isn't precedent, precedent was already set with every other policy we have to do with any kind of medical provision for
Oh,
students.
perfect, so precedent's already been set, so we probably should.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, and we
Okay.
should have an MOU with them too.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah. I'm sure there's much more.
Okay. She dropped that too. Okay, so she added with the appropriate consent. I personally think it needs to go at the end, but it's fine if it's there, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull that out of here. But we put language last week around this and broadened.
We put it in the things to consider doc, we didn't.
Oh,
put
so
it
We
in.
did, we didn't
We
take
should
it out of here.
probably, I think if we state that the district and mental health providers shall follow all Idaho laws
We
in
did.
regards, then this doesn't need to be in there. Cause
Okay.
this is just gonna be controversial.
Right.
Is that statement in the document now?
Is what statement?
That the
Well,
provider shall,
Yeah, it's lower,
Yeah, we did that 2 meetings ago.
right, it's right there.
So that should
Oh, yeah.
cover everything with a nice
Where?
blanket that.
was that in the survey though that was sent out?
Should have been.
Should have been.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. They have to be
Yeah.
compliant with state law.
Yes, they are
Yeah,
bound by
where
the
is
laws
it?
of the state, and it's up to the parents to enforce that law.
Yeah,
It's not up to us.
Number 1. Okay, got it. All right. What?
Letter A.
Letter A.
That's amazing.
Who knows? Okay, so I think that's confusing. Processors. Okay, so. No, I don't, okay, so, yeah, I don't think we wanna do what she's asking for, cause it's not about, we wanna know if they're receiving services or not. We just wanna know that they got the packet.
Oh, but we got rid of this form last week, so this needs to come out.
No, we don't have that form. We got rid of the form that was,
Knowledge of received
Right.
packet, right?
no, it was knowledge of,
Oh,
you can say this, you can
Oh,
say
that's right,
that,
that's
you
right,
can
that's right.
violate whatever our
Well,
policies
it was
are.
all those.
Yeah,
having
we
them
said
sign all those
no go
things.
on that one.
okay, that's right, okay.
It was all the, you signed off on this, and
Right.
we got rid of that.
But we never created the form that said you've gotten,
I have a suggestion. Since the school counselors, at least the referrals that are coming from the school, I can't speak to referrals that are self-referred or parents seeking them out or Heritage Health referring them to us, but I could instruct the counseling team to document in Skyward, in the counseling portion, that information was provided at parents' request and the mental health information packet was given, and then that way there's a standardized documentation of the fact that it was provided.
What's nice about that is,
Cause then if I leave or someone leaves,
it carries,
Yeah.
it follows the student, so it's not about
Correct.
the person, and it's not a paper copy, it's digital.
okay.
But can we not make it parents' requests, cause some parents might not understand that?
we could just say packet, mental health information packet was given. If it was at the
Perfect,
parent's
perfect.
request, we could say
Perfect.
at the parent's
Yeah, yeah,
request
perfect.
and be explicit with that.
Yeah.
But if that's something that would streamline this process, I think that would make a lot more sense and.
It would also be nice to just, that at any point they were considering, it's a good, I like the digital. Cause the moment it's paper, then
Mhm.
it's unique to the person and it's hard to find, and if somebody kept good records, it becomes conditional at that point.
Well, I thought about that too, just reflecting on some of the conversations about the concerns about giving referrals and not having documentation of the conversation that occurred. If we do, we can standardize that process and have it so that any, parent that's requesting information or any referral information we're giving, we are documenting that, so that if there is a concern that arises,
I think that was the goal of the team from the get-go, was standardizing the process of it, so that it
Correct.
wasn't hit or miss or dependent on the school or dependent on, that was the whole goal, is that whether the referral come from outside, inside, from parent, whatever, that the moment we are a part of it, there is some standardization protocols. That was the goal.
I mean, that's a super easy fix. That's a directive. If it's authorized by the superintendent, I can move forward. I can instruct our counselors. I can do training around that. I meet with them every other month. And we meet before the school starts, so we
could
can
just
start
say
that.
something,
I think this prior to receiving services needs to be removed, because that would imply that we would know what they're doing and how they're doing it, when the whole purpose of the statement is just to know that the district did its due diligence in
Right.
providing information to the family.
right, and we're documenting,
So-
counselors are documenting it in
Okay.
Skyward.
Well, could we say just the district will provide the mental health information packet to parents and or guardians? And it will be documented via
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you can, I guess Skyward or.
Do we wanna have it specifically say Skyward?
I know, that's what I
In
was
case
thinking,
something-
that in
You
case.
can do the learning, you can put learning management system.
Oh, yeah,
So
use
it's
the
an
LMS system,
and
that's a good idea.
It's whatever platform you are using.
And do we wanna say provided, or do we wanna say offered and documented?
I would say provided.
Okay.
Provided and documented.
Okay.
Offered is subjective, and not provided can be more
True.
concrete. And you'll just have to explain, when we're talking about LMS, what that means. If we don't name Skyward,
Oh,
and we just say it's
okay.
a learning management system, cause that's what these
Alright.
programs are called, the platforms are called,
Alright.
then it's not dependent on if we decided to go with Power School or some other crazy
Canvas.
Canvas or.
Is that the right word? System or software?
System.
Yeah.
So the district shall provide a mental health informational packet to the parent and or guardian, and shall document the transaction in the district's learning management system. Okay. So she added, student data will be protected in this process and no data will be disclosed where it would disclose the identity of an individual student.
I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Disclose.
Couldn't you just say something to the effect of we already talked about FERPA and HIPAA
Yep.
and maintain
Down there.
confidentiality. I feel like she added that and then didn't realize we had it lower.
Probably.
I mean, you're saying the same thing, or do you feel like she's trying to say something different?
No, so there is PII that's
Well-
different from FERPA.
Right. This is actually under the district's expectations. this is
Oh,
where mental
because we're
health-
talking about the
right.
aggregated data.
Right.
So
could
she
we just
doesn't
copy and
understand
paste
that
what we already
aggregated
have, that
data.
we just say
Yeah.
all, student data will be protected in accordance with HIPAA and FERPA rules and regulations.
Yeah, we can say that.
It's because we said aggregated data, which means no personal
Yeah.
identifier information.
Moment here. Okay. Okay.
I don't think we need to do that. If we just have the line with the current revision we made, it covers that concern, I believe.
You feel like A covers B, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
She's saying it's a little redundant, cause we're already getting confirmation of the packet, which is covering that, so we're still.
And this is actually a slippery slope because it could be misinterpreted.
Are you, so you agree taking B out?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why not much?
I'm reading this, but, you probably should have gone through it instead of just remove it, so we know what there is, or what? Does that have to go back to the board?
No.
Or this is the first?
This is the
it'll go to
first
board?
draft.
It's
No.
because we don't have an existing one, this is all new.
Right, no, I know that, but I mean, has the board seen any of this yet?
Yes, the board
Okay.
has seen this policy, and what happened at the meeting was I asked for it to go back to policy committee, that the revisions from attorneys be made by the committee after, getting
Yeah.
the parent input, so we could get this done.
Okay, so we should probably just strike it instead of delete it, because we need to show where our changes are.
Okay,
See what I'm
Oh, I
saying?
see what
Because
you're
when it
saying.
goes
Yeah.
back to the board,
Well, it's
it
not-
won't be.
but it's not going back to board, that's
Oh.
the thing.
Oh, so the board said, cool, whatever then.
That's what
Oh,
the board
okay.
said.
Alright,
Oh,
Okay.
we're not taking it back to board, oh, so once
Okay.
we're done, then it goes into effect?
No, but I mean, you did the minutes, right? Did you document that? Please check, because I know I was concerned due to the timing dynamics of this whole thing, because we're so late in the process, I wanted to make sure that we weren't dragging this on longer. So I asked the board, would they be okay if the committee looked at the lawyer's recommendations and parental input and allow the policy committee to make the changes and then make it active?
oh,
Okay.
cool.
Perfect.
Then I guess just take it out then, and then we don't have to show them any changes.
Well, and we can always go back and do version history, I mean, that's protected,
Right.
we'll have it, so if you
Yeah.
ever want to, I can do that, that's not a big deal.
I was just trying to be consistent, but if it's not going back to the board,
Yeah,
then it's irrelevant.
I'm glad you asked that question, cause I thought we were taking it to the August one, so, but I was frantically trying to take notes on other things, so.
No, I know, but my whole, frustration was the timeline.
Right.
It's like, no,
I
this
have
needs to be done.
in my notes, we will get parent feedback and be brought back to the August meeting.
You do?
But I can check the video to make sure
Okay.
that's correct.
Then I'll go ahead and line this out, and I would like you to listen to that, please.
Yes.
Because I seriously, I didn't want it to have to be dragged out.
No, we were gonna,
You wanna just go step out?
we sent it out for
Yeah.
both so we could
Are
expedite
you okay if I'm
the
gonna have her
process.
go step out right
Right.
now
Yeah.
and listen?
Oh, sure,
Okay.
that's fine, that's fine,
That way you're not going through all that and,
that's fine. There was other stuff I took out, but.
yeah, so let's just keep going and then we'll
Okay,
go from
cool.
there, cause we can go back and capture it.
We did that one, did that one.
So, can we go back up?
Yeah.
F and G have been called out on comments a lot. So what's, and
Well, I feel like F comes out because we're not having them do that, I thought.
that's, okay.
I thought we
Yeah,
took
I
out
thought
that
we took
form,
that out.
so that should be struck through.
Yep.
Is that,
Is there two?
Is
F
this
and
talking-
G it's we're talking about the district expectations up above, not F and G here.
But-
It's talking about all the gender affirming care. That's where F and G in the comments are all
Oh, okay.
out. So if you scroll up,
Oh,
Yeah, cause we took out the,
under district expectations. F was shall not provide gender
you're right.
affirming care options, G was shall not provide gender affirming counseling.
okay,
so we do need to
So-
scratch those because the Idaho law should cover, what, they're bound by Idaho law.
Correct.
And it's a gray area because it is a contract between families
uh-huh,
and Heritage Health.
Right.
We can't dictate what they can and cannot talk about in
Right.
counseling session.
But I do think we can take out, F there because we're not doing that, that's the form we got rid of.
correct.
But we are leaving G because we are ensuring that there's a release of,
and we still have the release of information in there?
yeah, that's G.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause that protects the families.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're good with scrolling?
Thanks for catching that, Dee.
Well, it was the wrong section, but.
Okay. Oh, good lord.
This is a long one.
Okay, so,
Are you in your way, Greg?
Nope, you're not in the way, it's just
Okay.
poor vision.
She thinks you should do the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good point.
So then what's her, the district reserves the right to remove any mental health provider who has violated standard, engage in misconduct.
let's take this.
Yeah, I feel
Move it
like
over.
with that.
I to need to learn copy and paste. Okay, so she's. So we don't owe them due process?
She's saying you don't, cause they're not an employee of the district.
Okay,
Heritage Health owes them due process, we do not.
okay.
You wanna leave the, in the event of a complaint though.
Oh,
Don't-
gotcha.
Yeah, don't cross
Okay.
that out.
I knew you would fix that.
I guess I wouldn't be able to handle that. Alright, there we are.
So what triggers that is in the event of a complaint.
Correct. If the complaint's received against a mental health provider, then,
So if there isn't a complaint and they're breaking policy, and say a admin that's checking them in the front notices that they're not being checked in or something like that, we don't reserve the right to remove them.
but wouldn't that
It has to be it has to be a complaint.
Well, that's
But
saying that the
wouldn't-
way that that verbiage is in the event of a complaint.
No, I get
Against
that, but
against
wouldn't-
is received.
Okay, but wouldn't that be a complaint that administration is bringing against the mental health provider that they're not following the procedures for the kid?
If that administrative assistant or whoever, whatever you guys call him, actually
Well,
files
it
a
should
complaint.
be internal policy, right? They'll be covered in internal policy.
But what triggers this is in the event of a complaint.
I'm wondering if that needs to be, does it need to be grievance? Do we need to change that?
I'm not certain you need in the event of a complaint.
You're saying
Right.
it should just say the district reserves the right,
Right.
similar to
Yeah.
what Megan
Yeah.
said,
Yeah,
that
Right.
it's not a.
Because the latter
Makes
half of that
sense.
states what they could be removed for,
Mhm.
right? So who cares how it comes to the attention of the district?
Okay.
I don't know that your black is the same black. It's a
No,
lighter
it's
black.
gray.
Or it's a gray.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Agreed.
You feel like she's just saying parents and or legal guardians and students who receive, like, take off the caveat and that just the standalone?
Oops. No, she's like, why is this part italicized and the rest of it's not, and did we forget something? So due to the potential for negative outcomes, parents and or legal guardians and students who have reached the age of majority.
I'm not certain I understand this whole paragraph the way it's written. I understand the intent was that parents and or legal guardians can basically cancel service at any time. That's what we're trying to say, but this whole thing about bullying and things like that doesn't quite make sense with the second half of the paragraph. And we have bullying already covered, I believe, underneath one of the policies.
And it's in the things to consider doc as well.
Yeah. So I think where it says parents and or legal guardian, yeah, kill that.
Yeah. There was a concern about, like, if a child were to come back and say, I don't wanna do this, and so,
Yep.
and I said, you know, okay, let's talk about this, it's a 9-year-old, having a bad day. They don't get to decide, it's up to their parent, and so that's where we put in that, like, that has to be communicated to the parent so that they can talk about it, but kids don't get to determine that, cause it's up to parents.
I agree 100%.
What did it say?
It will be brought back to the August meeting.
Okay.
Good call,
I don't
Mama.
know what I was not communicating, it must have been in my head. Okay,
Probably the district minister does not know, they're just optional.
oh yeah, we're not mandating that because then we're liable for it.
Mm-hmm. Do we need to make all of the policies capital?
I don't think we did. But it looks awfully bold.
Olivia, I can fix that later.
Comments on this? Should we take it out? Because we're just kind of informing them that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you always have the right to a second opinion.
Increase our
Well, it's in parental
liability.
rights, yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily, okay, yeah.
I don't think it's needed. Like Amy says, in summary, less is more.
So you'll take care of all these capitalizations?
Yeah, we'll fix all of that, cause
Okay.
even the,
'Cause that's
flossing
like,
is bulky.
oh.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Huh. Oh yeah, we don't have any federal references or anything.
We just,
There
we need to
are.
put in the parent one, and we need to put in the,
Yeah, the parent law, the parents'
mhm.
right.
It just went into effect.
What happened to the ones that were on there?
They're all caps.
Their
We put 'em
federal
right
got
there.
stuck underneath it there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like they were just, the font was that, it's weird now, it wasn't like that before.
Well, it says it's, oh, whatever. Can you fix this for me when you get to it? Alright, so those are the,
We'll change them so they're not all
yeah, that's,
capital.
yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
We wanna go to the top and look at the stuff that you struck through. There's only like one or two things that you changed. Maybe not, we just added this piece.
Well, there was something else that I took out. But yeah, then I think we were pretty consistent with keeping with the
Well, and the notes will be on there, the board will be able to see those notes, so
Yeah.
they can,
Right.
they'll know.
Yeah.
You know, if we miss something,
Yeah.
we'll just tell them that there was a little bit of confusion about whether it was coming back or not, they probably won't really care, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure what we added, Amy White, emphasized the fact, well, she didn't emphasize it, I emphasized it on her, but that the district bears no liability or responsibility for such relationships. I think that's important
I think we
to
should
call
put
out.
that somewhere.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Do you feel like it's appropriate to put it under this where it says mental health providers are not employees, and so then that just rounds that statement?
Yeah,
was thinking
add
so.
on to that or that beginning, that way it's right up front
yeah.
and it's caught immediately.
That there's no incurred liability from this transaction.
Yeah.
Let's change that around. Do our other policies have that split out that way, or we have the federal separated from the state statute? Let's see.
I think so.
It just looked a little odd, but it could be like that. My
Well,
brain just doesn't remember.
No, so like here's the policy, remember from ISBA, and they just have your cross reference and it just says legal.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I thought, on ours, if we follow
like-
that same convention or,
They
Yeah.
do,
We're supposed to.
yeah.
so we don't need at the
Mhm.
bottom where we split them out where they said federal
I
or
think
other.
so.
I don't know. I
I
don't
think we
so.
built it with the idea that we didn't have that, and then maybe we didn't realize we had added that
Could be.
kind of disclaimer,
Well, because federal is legal.
Yeah.
right?
So we can take that
I'm just
off.
taking out.
See, that's what we just do, cross and then legal. This is our policy.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think we did that.
Yeah.
Alright, so stating, the district assumes no liability or responsibility for services provided by mental health providers. Sufficient?
Say what? Do you say that again? Sorry.
The district assumes no liability or responsibility for services provided by mental health providers.
That's pretty much what she said, wasn't it?
Yeah, I took that
Oh,
out
there's
of-
your other one that you added, where it starts at that affects how, cause I can tell that the text is under mental health definition, down.
The state of our
Right there.
emotional.
So start over at that, that,
Oh, yeah.
and drag it down, hold it down, and drag it down, so you select the whole, there you go. So you added all that, so make it red or whatever you're doing, so the board knows you added that.
No, we didn't.
The text is different. I'm
I think she
selecting,
added it last time before you
see
took
the
it to
text
board.
color?
Oh, I don't know who added it, but
Okay.
I thought it was already there, but that's fine, we'll make it red. Okay, I get what you're saying, cause it was a different text color.
Yeah, cause the other one did the same thing, remember when you added it, it was that light or dark
Okay.
gray.
I'll just fix it.
Yeah.
Not all capital letters. In your face screaming at you.
Is there anything else that stood out to anyone regarding Amy White's, comments?
Page 2, paragraphs, full paragraphs, 4 and 5. It's really interesting what she says here. It starts with what this policy reference is talking about the district's facility use and facility rentals policies. The district already has those in place, it does not have to come up with a new policy to effectuate this agreement. Then she goes on, if we are going to make a policy, her recommendations. And again, what I get out of this is less is more. And will keep us from being in litigation. And that was some of the parental comments as well, or survey comments, I should say.
So based on your statement, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we follow Amy White's legal advice.
Are you feeling like we copy and paste what she says and try?
No, if we are going to go down this policy, and it sounds like we are, then let's follow paragraph 6 here. If the district is inclined to go to the route of making policy, then she says, I would suggest it be a very simple, single paragraph that talks about the district's desire to keep students in class, to aid in that regard by making physical locations and telehealth opportunities available to students to seek care with their private provider, and that the school district is not involved in such relationships and bears no liability or responsibility for relationships. And then go on, the student can seek, I mean, that paragraph is really a good policy.
Yeah,
This kinda goes into
as
what
a
we started.
parent, I'm sorry, I wanna know that there's gonna be a release of information signed. I'm gonna wanna know all this up front, that there's an exchange of communication and information, and how much information gets relayed back to the district, and this paragraph by no means, covers any of that information.
Okay, so that's just saying then we include another line that says,
Well, and that's in her,
the
that's in her
parents.
paragraph, that's in her recommendations,
Is it?
that student can seek such care only with the approval and consent of their parent or guardian.
She doesn't want the district to have
The
access
release
to
of
the
information,
So
the
then let's add that line.
consent, so that's what I'm talking about, is that parents, this policy, parents are not gonna know that there's a release of information.
Right.
I'm the type of parent that I get into a
We
situation
have
like
that in,
this,
if that's
Yeah.
included in the policy already.
in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but I'm going if we just wanted this
Oh, yeah.
paragraph.
Yeah, so we
It's
just add
not
that.
enough information.
So let's add that sentence. That the district, or the district will not receive, I don't know, any of the,
We have that in there.
Well,
It
you
says-
right now, but what she's saying is, take this paragraph and use this for the whole policy. Abolish what we have up here,
Oh, okay.
short and sweet.
Well, that's kind of what we were getting to in this first paragraph, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's becoming? It's.
Yeah, cause Megan even was saying that.
Yeah, it's very similar to what she's saying
Right.
right here.
And so what she's saying is, you can pretty much incorporate it all in this 1 or 2
Although-
paragraphs in the beginning. Add what you said about, the district doesn't have access to the whatever mental health records or the counseling session unless the parent provides authorization, and roll. The rest of the stuff
MOU
is.
public information?
It can be requested, it's a FOIA request. But this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th paragraph states, the proposed policy seeks to go broader than this situation with Heritage Health's MOU, which is accurate. this policy isn't targeted at Harry Chubb.
Yeah, when I read her comments, I feel like she gets nothing of what's going on, which is extremely typical of Amy White. When I read this, I thought she totally missed the whole understanding of what the policy was for and what its
Right.
purpose was.
This is addressing in-district
I guess I felt the
counseling
opposite.
Well,
situations.
but-
and I agree, cause my concern last time was it sounds like it's becoming, we want to control what is happening in these therapy sessions with this third party,
Yeah.
and they're not Lakeland employees. That's what the language sounded like. I think we
Fixed
had,
it.
I do think that with the corrections you've made, that has helped tremendously, but I think that's what she's speaking to, and that's what my concern was, looking, at it from a couple different lenses as a mental health professional, someone that's well versed in the therapy world and on the school front. I think that this is much more concise, and really makes it clear that they're not our employees, and I feel like it.
And I feel like as it reads right now, it encompasses Amy White's perspective and also some of the concerns that
Yeah.
parents have brought up.
Mhm.
So I think with the changes
I
we
agree.
have made, it is a good consensus of
Mhm.
all the feedback.
I agree.
Can you scroll down?
Where are we going?
These are all
I do have to make this change.
Yeah, that's
fine. It's just in the wrong place.
I think you need to put of the legal guardian. Let's define what appropriate consent is.
Okay.
What are you saying directly after that, just put
Right.
with the appropriate consent from?
The legal guardian, right? Or whatever verbiage we need to use there to designate parent. What I would call a parent.
Huh. I didn't catch that before.
What?
Well, it says that the district may collaborate with mental health providers on the development and
I know,
implementation
I've been looking at that too.
Yeah. of appropriate mental health programs.
They're not gonna do that, are they?
No, so,
I think the district may collaborate with mental health providers. I would take out development and implementation, which means we have to reword that sentence.
well, implementation would just mean bringing it to the table.
You could take out development then.
And I would
But
say
then-
programs specifically, cause that makes it sound like,
Yeah, I would say services.
yeah.
Is this trying to cover the conversation that we're having with the mental health agency and what buildings we would recommend them serving? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's actually logistics.
Yeah, 'cause we just don't want it to be a situation where this reads that
Mhm.
you can't have any conversation, because there is some information that you'll have, not specific to sessions, but you're gonna know, I mean, principal
just-
needs to know,
yeah,
because
numbers
for
of-
safety, and yeah.
What I can see and what you can see are numbers of how
Right.
many are served at each site.
So it just, this
Yeah.
covers you.
Do you
Okay.
have the latest updates or the last
Sounds like
2 or 3
we need it.
updates from ISBA out there in
Consent.
Grade somewhere that I can look at?
Like what?
So
Appropriate consent.
The district may collaborate with mental health providers on the implementation of mental health services to meet the needs of students. So we don't need a consent
Right.
because
No.
it's not relative, okay,
That reads better.
yeah.
Yeah, that
makes more sense to me.
So how does the referral process work?
Let Heather.
So, a parent can come to the school counselor and express concerns or desire to wanna seek counseling services and ask for information.
Okay.
And then we can have a conversation that way and give them our referral packet that we have. Other times, the referral comes from, I've had it happen where they've gone and sought out Heritage Health outside of school. And they've gone to the agency and I can't get my kid in at this time, and they say, oh, did you know that the school has this? And then they reach out to the counselors that way.
Okay.
The other option is, the school, mainly the school counselors generally, having a conversation with the parent, about, concerns for the student and offering information on referrals. So it's either in collaboration, being driven by the school in collaboration with the parent, or the parent initiating the conversation, but ultimately it's a conversation.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my question is, can you scroll up? I'm so sorry.
No. Where am I going?
Oh, okay, stop. So is the district providing training and education to its staff on recognizing signs of mental health concerns?
The only training that we provide, to our staff would be our, QPR, our suicide prevention.
So I would probably change the language, because the mental health concerns is a red flag for a lot of this.
We just have, for our staff, any concerns you have about a student, we want you to bring it to that school's admin team.
And this is something that is already in place. Is it in a separate policy?
No,
It's
it's
just
under our
internal?
suicide prevention,
It's protocol.
and it's legally, we have to,
Yeah.
So I would just change.
it's under our suicide. But the other piece to this, just so you know, is the new parental law, says that if a staff member, witnesses, sees, there's some difference in the child that's not normal, like they're not going into the lunchroom, they're, whatever, they are, now required to inform the parents.
But that's not a mental health concern, that's a behavior.
Right.
It's any and all.
I know, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that
Right.
what's gonna get sticky on this is somebody's gonna call the district to the table on, you teachers and administrative staff are not mental health professionals, how can they be trained on mental health concerns? What does that exactly mean? So I think we should come up with a better play the game of semantics and lighten the language from mental health concerns.
Suggestions?
Well,
Didn't we put
the-
something in around behavior in that other policy of, what was it?
I just sent it to you, Ramona.
Remember?
I just sent it to you.
When we
Was
did
it
the-
30 to 81, the
God,
gender
that's
identity?
amazing. No, it was, the one before that. It's cited in here. It's one of the policies that was cited. Isn't it? Controversial issues. Didn't we put it in there about behavior? Change in behavior? Or did we put it in the gender identity?
I couldn't tell you, we can bring them up.
Was it gender?
Yep.
So I think we copy that similar language and replace the mental health concerns with because it goes along with,
Yeah, our staff wouldn't come and say,
I have a mental
They-
health concern.
right, they
for
wouldn't say it like
students.
that, they would just say, hey, I'm really concerned, the student is having aggressive outbursts in class, or, they're really withdrawn and isolative. They wouldn't label any student, we don't do diagnoses and stuff.
I know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, is that this is alluding to that,
Yeah.
and I wanna
You just go to the folder.
massage the language a little bit.
Folder, and then our draft should come up.
Are you the school psych?
Board draft policy.
No, I'm a school
We're-
counselor.
Okay.
Olivia's still working on cleaning up everything from,
I'm in the 2000s.
Bless your heart. Okay.
It should be to the bottom.
do this. observes or, right there, in the event a district staff observes and or learns of known changes in a student's mental, emotional, physical. I think we actually we took this straight from the parental rights statute, I think.
Okay, so.
Not right there.
Not right there. It's on
Whoops.
the bottom.
It's right there.
That's, yeah, So could we say that the district provides, because we already do it, it's not a will?
We do provide training, but it's not specific to mental health conditions.
I know, that's why I was saying.
She is saying it should read something like this.
Like
Tell me if
B.
I'm wrong, like it should read like the district shall provide training and education to its staff in the event the district staff observes and or learns. So it's on recognizing signs, you strike that through and then you merge A and B together. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
How I got that, I don't know, but that's how my brain saw it.
So after the word staff in A, remove on recognizing signs of mental health concerns, delete that, and merge B into it. Don't hit delete right now. You want the first part of B.
I think it should read, the district shall provide training and education to its staff on recognizing changes in a student's mental, emotional, physical health, or well-being. And then we need to work on the second portion.
Okay.
That works.
That's fine.
Okay.
And they do have, it's mental health first aid, districts are starting to utilize this as training specifically for mental health concerns, but it's pretty in-depth, the commitment that it requires. They had contacted us around COVID time and we were interested in that, but just food for thought if that's something the district wants to pursue.
Other local districts pursuing it?
Yes, Kelly Aiken was
Okay.
talking to me about it, yeah. So it's, I think it's actually called mental health first aid.
It is.
I took
I've been
that training
trained
at
in
my
it.
old district,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Can you strike out the letter B? So otherwise it makes it look like we still have two bullets here.
Okay. I think, if we. I don't know if, well, the second half of the thing, the sentence,
We don't,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think that
we
needs to
need
be
it.
in there. We don't need the full statement, I just wanted to pull some of that language in,
gotcha.
because it's
So-
about around behavior.
Correct.
And, yeah,
I think you could stop it at emotional, physical health and
Yeah.
well-being.
yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree.
Oopsies. There you go. Yes.
There you go.
Okay, so then B.
Are you thinking it's a moot point?
I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so then, now I've really made some people happy in here.
Yay. We'll get him to please.
You guys feeling like we're good with this one? Cause then I'd like to just pull up the things to consider and have everybody look that over one more time.
Okay.
Are we good with this?
Anything else that we thought of?
No, I think this is good to go.
That's not red.
It's because of her.
Yeah.
Oh, it's her fault.
You can change it.
You can accept it and change it to red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to accept it though. Yeah.
Just have to remember that it's there because of Megan. Okay. Alright, so then you wanna go to where?
I think she has it up there. Go right next door. Yep. over a little bit more next door. A little more.
I'm just gonna
Oh.
make these go, well, I won't make them
Right
go.
there.
There we are.
So then this is the new version of the things to consider, doc, so we had some people that just wanted some, we reworded some of the questions.
Was that captured in the survey? Or,
It was feedback that we've received from people that were here, and then I do think that there are some comments in the survey. It was just kind of questions that parents could ask, and some of them are good, like what happens for instructional time, what happens, you know, just what about sports, and just things of, it was more of a comprehensive look. One of the things that we changed, I felt like there was a lot of discussion about all the gender, and so question 5 we changed, because there are other controversial topics outside of just gender. There's suicide, there's bullying, there's, you know, the one thing that sticks in my mind, Heather, is it's always hard when a kid comes and tells a story and then CPS is involved, and then, you know, that's, but we are mandated reporters, and so just, those are conversations that I feel like everybody just needs to be really upfront and transparent about, that there are things that have to be reported, and it's a non-negotiable for us, and so we're just putting it out there for parents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but we wanted to try to encompass hot topics across the board, cause my hot topic could be different to Dee's, so.
Well, actually, my hot topic is social media, cause all this.
I would agree.
Do you think we can come up with 3 more questions? Cause I really don't like it in the 17.
No prime numbers allowed.
Or I have a different idea, what if we take off 2 and we end with 15, 5 or 0,
That's good, we can do that.
visibility rules.
But 20 would fill the page, so it wouldn't be like this little blurb at the top.
Okay, come up with 3 more questions.
I don't know.
restart time.
Craig, are you volunteering for 3 more questions?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
18, nothing. 20, nothing. There. You can put a question mark if you want.
I second that.
Oh, here's a good question.
Okay.
Will qualified providers actually be provided?
Ooh, there we go.
Hope so.
Okay.
Another question, how do we know that these services will actually be offered?
How do we know?
Well, because,
Well-
yeah, gotcha.
I think that is of the district.
No, that's actually on Heritage Health, because it's based on however many counselors they can provide and how many schools they
Or if the,
can meet.
or if the district decides not to provide the service, correct?
True.
What was the
I
context of the
thinking
question?
more of if the provider just wasn't showing up, and I was going that route, like just, you know,
Well, I
being
think,
flaky.
I mean, the feedback that I've had from our school counselors has been what has been reflected in comments of other folks, and that's, I wanna be able to have my kid get into counseling as soon as possible. And so that's the frustrating part with any mental health agency, that, you know, we can give them the information, but we can't guarantee that they're gonna have availability. So, I mean, I guess that's a good.
And that's the same
question.
across the board, even
Yeah.
outside.
Exactly, yeah.
Does
Does that anything about cost?
Well, we don't pay for.
Right. That's what I need to know, right?
Well, it talked about the, previously in the policy about the.
So,
Insurance.
another parent asked, is my child just gonna be pulled into mental health counseling with?
Without consent?
Yeah,
That's in the policy now, right?
That's in the policy.
so maybe the question is here,
It's in the
what
policy,
is
isn't it?
the timeline for services look like? Cause this person is questioning the timeline deeply, and this comes from a person that doesn't, obviously, never has gone through this sort of situation before.
Alright, one more. Get that even 20.
I'm trying. Apparently Oregon used to do this.
Yeah, I read that as comments, I'm like, what?
Maybe I'm not numbered. This document is for parents to consider, what questions consider asking the provider,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a whole slew of here's.
Yeah. I think this is,
Just giving them, informing them of their, giving them ideas of
things
what they
that
can
they-
ask. Cause a lot of
Yeah.
times parents go into these situations not knowing what's appropriate, and that usually stems from like parents that, are immigrants into the country, right? Like when I worked in LA, my Spanish, my Latino families were like, oh no, I could never ask that of the school district, and I'm like, oh yes you can.
Well, initially the request that they wanted some of these questions or thoughts or statements in the policy, and by nature, some of these questions are subjective, and so I recommended we do a things to consider, so just, you know, if here's some things to think about. Because kids are getting pulled out of instructional time, the kids are, I mean, so just.
Can you scroll down?
He's really committed to get to 20.
Okay, keep going. Stop. Probably a big one is, am I able to participate in my child's mental health counseling? I'm channeling my social worker.
Okay. Do you remember what the password is to modify these policies? So mad. From ISBA. Where's the page thing? It's not here.
No, but if you look under that policy, it should be in there, the direct, the 4200 one.
Well, I didn't see the new one, that's why I asked if we had those updates, because
I checked the other districts and they have a procedure also, and the policy itself is like 4 pages long. And that's ISBA's 2021, I think, which,
The 2021, I think. That's
Yeah.
the one I've received since I've been here.
yeah, we should have, all of those should have been
They
in
should be in.
the policy directly. Um, I
There we
had
go.
put the 2021s out there and some other ones, spring and winter.
I have like 2 alarms that go
Um,
off.
I hope so.
But
I think we're
anyways,
officially
that's-
done
Right.
with this policy. Can we give ourselves a round of applause, please?
We need to be able to extract this.
Okay,
that
so
we
we will go in, just clean up if there's any clerical, if there's any font funkiness, whatever. We'll clean up the no caps, cap thing at the bottom. And then, we will take this to the August board meeting and, go from there.
Okay.
Everybody in agreement? Yes. Okay, so then can we switch to, if you scroll down, can we switch to 4,200? So there's our draft, and then in addition, we have stakeholder input for 4,200. It's the next column over, right here. I don't know that we had a lot of,
Actually, there was a lot of just shocking feedback.
I wanna meet parent 6.
what?
I wanna meet parent number 6, it sounds like a fun time.
So we don't have the
The
most
new
up-to-date, 4,200. I have it, but it's, you know, password protected. We have to get the password from, ISBA, and I only know that because I started looking at Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls, and they had, policy plus procedure. So the actual policy from ISBA is 4 pages long.
For
and it-
4,200?
Yes, and it has.
When did the update come through?
Well, this one I just pulled was 2021, which was the last one I had access to. And it involves, not only your booster clubs and support organizations, fundraising groups, financial records, because a lot of people don't understand the totality of the board's job. So I was pulling statute to put on the policy so they understand that by statute, we're supposed to record this stuff. And it has an audit, clause in it, liability insurance, high school activities association regs, parameters for the use of the school, logos, mascots, names, discriminations, donations, blah, 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 blah. It's 4 pages long. So ours is severely lacking from a lot of legal protection. And we've already had issue with the, color, logo, we had the issue with, employee using colors, school colors and logos to sell bootlegged
Yeah.
training videos, as Lakeland training videos, so.
Well. Okay.
I'm trying to get this copied out of here, but it's all, password protected, so let me see if we can, get it out. But I mean, it's up to you guys.
I don't have
Just-
access to it that much now, Alabama.
Yep, it's right out there, I think it's right in the root of the,
Well,
drives.
isn't it, is it this one right here?
It says 2021,
1219?
no, it's, 2021. Yeah, no, it's the, let me, yeah, because there were quite a few updates that came out, also in looking at that last update, I had access to a lot of those that we would have to go back over, there were updates too that we
So we need to redo this one and add all the additional language.
Well, I think some of it, and just, I didn't get all the way through the comments, but just seeing a few of the
Mhm.
comments, so that's why I started looking at what the
Yeah.
other districts had, and that's how I found the update that.
Okay.
Do you
didn't have-
know if, the procedures, I mean, is there a 4200P? Or
Right
did
now
Coeur
on
d'Alene
there.
take that?
There isn't a 4200P.
Okay.
I don't have one in this, but this is the last update I had. The spring of this year update does not have an update to 4200, but we have spring and winter of 2022 and 2023 also.
There's a 622 update, and so here's 4200.
What's the update
The 30.
date on the bottom?
This one says 12/19, but right here, it says, hold on.
Yep, so does it have 4 pages? So
Yeah, this one is 4 pages long, so it says
Okay.
the last time it says 12/19, there's no,
procedure. So
there's no procedure.
start at
It
the
goes
top,
to
maybe it's,
4210.
so do you have the school support organization for your first paragraph? And then,
Uh-huh.
booster organizations,
Approves activities
Yep.
at Booster, yeah.
fundraising by
Yeah,
school.
Financial
Okay. Yep.
records,
Audit,
audit,
Liability.
liability, high school activities, parameters,
Yes.
donations, description.
yep, and then the legal, okay,
Mhm.
and there's more legal references that I pulled also. So
But
we
there isn't a procedure, so Coeur d'Alene must have just extrapolated that out.
yeah, I don't know where I didn't pay attention to
So,
it.
Olivia and I can work on, merging if there's the new updates
Okay.
to that policy.
I did add, I didn't put them on this one, so there were 2 of those out there, so let me make it even, so.
The hard thing is if we can't I don't have access to download this, so you'll have to if you can find that password.
And I
That was
can make sure
Rosanna.
that you have, they should all be in the root. At one point, we were putting everything,
She stopped after a while though, so, Olivia and I talked about that, going back, there's probably, I started sending as I get the updates. I was sending them to Michelle, to you guys, but
So
we
I
haven't
updated
had them
that.
for a while.
that too with the statute, requirements, because there were questions about that too. People think that the board overreaches, and it's just not the case.
So we'll go through and merge 4200, cause
Okay.
And let me see if those are actually out there, board policy. Look for, updates. These.
yeah, 'cause the one in there is 4. And the one she downloaded was 2, so.
Where's this guy? Okay, so it's best we just make it check here.
So at this point, 3501 will go to the board, we'll merge 4200.
I mean, I just don't think that we should, we spend all that time and then we
No,
don't
I
even
agree,
have
we
all
need to
the.
merge it, yeah.
And they didn't even have all of the, legal, the statute
Mhm.
in there either. So I added those to the bottom,
Okay.
of both of those, cause I didn't know what
We'll
copy
bring
they
it back
were.
and merge those together, but I think if we do that, then we need to resend it out for parent input. Unless you don't. 'Cause well, I mean, it might address them, and if it addresses all the concerns, maybe we don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I suppose we merge it and see what's new
right,
and, go from there.
okay. Okay, so we can move on to another policy, but it is 7:30 and we will kind of get started. What do you wanna do?
I don't know. I will wait for this stuff to update it.
You go at the very top.
Where?
Do you wanna go to the month at a glance?
Where is that?
Second one.
The second one, up there at the very top right there.
Okay, thank you.
So scroll down.
I think the few things, the, concerns that they brought up, I think are covered on the.
In that policy.
Yeah, and I added the statute references so they can see the
Okay.
board's obligation, legal obligation to actually do what the policy's saying.
Yeah.
So on the second, we'll merge them and we'll bring back the draft with the new language for the second.
And then with also too, in regards to like the PTA, that they're
Mhm.
covered under the
Yeah.
state, so it's a
Right.
non-issue.
And the other thing, the $1 million, I think that's the liability requirement for ICRIP, because that would,
We actually have two attorneys say
Yeah.
that that they're not covered if
Right.
it was an issue, so.
that was the only issues or questions I saw that would be, but
I think we
it's
all
all covered.
assumed that if they were covered under ours, but we did have two different attorneys say they weren't.
Yeah, I knew
So-
that, yeah. But the question was on here from
Mhm,
parents, they were
mhm.
asking why so high.
So we,
So the other thing we have to remember is we have to do, all of the annual updates, and that has to be done before school starts, and there's a lot of them.
there is about 10 of them.
Yeah, well, and there's updates that we even missed,
Mhm.
because we didn't have some of the other ones.
Well, that's
So-
the hard part, is if we talk about it and then we wait 2 months or to get to something else, I feel like
There's
there's
a
times
priority.
when there's a update,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
put out every spring, typically it's spring, summer, and winter, but the thing is that we'll have to go back to all of those since the last time we touched ours and make sure that their update wasn't in any of those other updates. Because they don't, just like the one that she just got doesn't have any updates on anything we're working on.
Right.
But prior to that, there were.
So what is pressing is we do need to, address the high school graduation requirements, and then we have to do policy 3010, that has to be the focus for August 2nd, because that's the enrollment one.
That has to get
And
done.
we have to get those numbers in, but we're not gonna, that's gonna be a meaty one, so I would say let's wait till the second, but.
Did you have Ryan and,
So if you go to the draft, and I did make copies,
this one?
So this one, we didn't really have any changes, and neither did ISBA, so they just added this little piece. This is the actual policy, it's really short and sweet.
Why does it have to say regular?
What does it say
Regular
Oh.
high school diploma.
Well, there is a difference between,
Alternative high school diploma.
IDAPA, yeah, and statute between, quote, alternative and quote, regular high school.
But where we wanted to make the changes was in the procedure, so I did have them look at both and they were good with the changes, and then ISBA had some additional updates, so I added those as well. But,
So are we not gonna read policy?
no, we are, I just wanted to tell you all that, so. And I have copies too.
I'm good.
I hear you saying that, right?
Yeah, but
I'm
trying to figure out
just-
how fast I can
I
get it
know.
out of through high school.
Cause why couldn't it just say we award a high school diploma?
Because apparently there's,
Regular and non-regular.
well, there's alternative high schools.
Well, there's advanced diploma,
What's
there's
an advanced
Oh,
diploma?
there's more.
advanced is if you take advanced courses, so you take advanced
Oh, that's
sciences,
just,
math.
that's ridiculous,
English.
because that has absolutely no bearing on anything whatsoever.
Yeah, but it might make you feel special. If it says advanced on your diploma. That could be very important.
Might get more money from the parents.
No, you won't.
Okay, back to this finance policies.
Ramona, I just forwarded you an email chain when you have time.
Okay,
To answer your question. Put this right here. That's the draft, here it is.
okay, thank you.
And then here's our draft for PDO,
Deal.
for the procedures.
Oh, there's one district that's getting getting rid of algebra one.
What? Were
Here.
they just going to algebra 2?
No algebra? They're removing it for certain grade levels.
Really?
In, like around here? or in the
No,
state?
it's in another state. So you can't take algebra one till like your junior or senior year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Then how do you go to Calc or Trig? You don't?
You don't, it's equity.
Oh my lord. Oh my gosh.
Well, I did see some headlines about math nowadays in this country. They're not fair.
Have you seen reading and literacy too?
No, but I did about math. And I
Oh.
thought, are you serious?
Yeah,
Come on now.
that is happening.
Yeah, some schools 25% is a C.
Yeah, well, now they've determined that math is racist, so, yeah. It was a big discussion. It was like, how
Math
are
is
people?
racist?
Math.
Is it disproportionate scores?
Yes.
Is that the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and line
So let's just make them dumb, alright? That's the solution.
Yeah.
Let's not keep them on grade level, let's just keep them in elementary school math and high school.
Anything you wanna add or delete here?
I don't like some language, but that's because I'm me. I think it's pretty stuffy.
We have been working on taking out one fuzzy number.
Oh, yeah, but this isn't warm and fuzzy, it's definitely just pompous. Okay, so if alternative high school students are not receiving a regular high school diploma, then this doesn't apply that.
We still have to meet some other graduation requirements, it just doesn't have to be, they don't have to take, they have to,
I'm gonna take out work.
take it out.
Okay, thank you.
And they have to still have so many units of math,
Right.
so many units of science, so
Well, they
many,
have to
yeah.
meet the requirements.
Right.
To graduate.
Right. But they're not the most, yeah.
Why are we saying generally?
So we jump from graduation requirements to graduation ceremonies?
Apparently. And why is there blue?
Remember that's ISBA's,
Okay. No, we didn't, that's why they asked.
yeah, it's ISBA's.
That third paragraph just is awkward.
The third one or the fourth one?
Is it the fourth? Oh, I'm sorry, it's the fourth one.
Yeah.
Apologies.
there's like
Could you
not
say
context for it, huh?
in the event? I mean, how is graduation requirements and receiving your diploma during graduation ceremonies the same? Cause we don't talk about graduation ceremony for regular kids that are not expelled or denied participation
I
in
think it's just a
ceremonies.
caveat that there could be a situation where you could be asked to not participate in the ceremony.
Yeah, it's just weird. It doesn't fit. It's totally out of place, but.
High school principal would probably have an answer for that.
I had them look at it, they felt like, I mean, they like having parents that are aware that that's a possibility if there was a situation, or if you didn't meet. You know, some kids have to go into the summer after their senior year to finish those credits and, yeah.
Well, with what you're saying, the way this is worded, that doesn't feel cool. Because a student wouldn't be denied
Their diploma,
their diploma.
just because they can't, that's what I'm saying, like,
They'll get it, right.
the ceremonies doesn't fit in the policy. That's all I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Cause it's about graduation requirements, not about the
So
ceremony
you could
itself.
strike through that.
Well, no, I guess what I'm trying to understand, it says such exclusion shall be regarded as a school suspension. So if a student comes to the end of of the semester for senior year, they don't have enough credits to graduate.
They don't walk.
Oh, I get that, but they're suspended? They're not suspended. They have to go into summer school if it's their hope
Right,
to get their
that's not,
credits.
this scenario is not specific to I didn't earn my requirements.
It's disciplinary.
It's a
action, so
disciplinary
it's-
action,
Yeah.
like what happened to the kid in Kellogg.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, it's not,
It's just weird.
It-
It's not thorough. It's a blob.
it doesn't make sense. I think that would go in the student handbook, or parent handbook, or something.
But
to
we
that
tried to
effect.
make sure that whatever's in the handbook matches policy.
That is
But
correct.
shouldn't this be behavioral, or is there a policy around graduation ceremony?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is high school
Cause then you
graduation
could have a policy around
requirements.
every scenario, if and then situation. I mean, it could be under the discipline policy, I guess you could add the caveat under discipline,
Or we could just give it its own little title and say, side note.
right, caveat.
Well, because this is graduation requirements, that's
Yeah.
the title of the policy. I don't know why this is just stuck here when it's not thorough. What's on the P that we're really supposed to be paying attention to because,
Right there, we wanted to change the unit, for US history.
we did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall that.
And so keep going, so that's the part I changed, the little red, you went fast right there. And then ISBA had some additional updates, keep going, right there, extended learning opportunities.
That's it?
No, one more
License.
thing, and mastery based, and then they added a and that's it.
But we
Okay,
don't
why-
have any GPA in there.
Why do we have these lines?
That's,
And our other one had a GPA in it.
here's the
Yeah.
GPA, class ring GPA right there.
Oh, blank.
But it's, the student
We
must
gotta
have the
fill it
minimum
in.
of,
We can put it in there.
But isn't it in the student handbook?
Mm-hmm,
Okay, so
I just didn't put it in there.
and our other policy, one of those policies, cause we worked on it that year with
Pull up.
Lisa, to update the
where am I
requirements.
pulling up?
Pull up the current, it was linked in there, just go back to July, yeah. Right under the current policy 2700P. That's from our website, so if it's in there, we keep going.
Look at all that space.
Yeah, it's in my notes.
Oh,
With the
that's on.
3.5, yeah.
So is that what's in the book, 3.5 for GPA?
That was an honor roll. That one said for honor roll. 1.5. Oh, and early graduation. And what was the heading where it's blank under that?
GPA.
Yeah, but what was the heading? GPA, that is the heading, minimum. Oh, it's honor roll, yeah, so 3.5.
There's only one honor roll for the district?
I don't know.
Well, it's slowly been changing. The high schools were really the ones that needed to come together because they were doing two separate things between, you know, Timberlake versus Lakeland, but that's, I think they're completely on the same page now, I believe.
Right. They're supposed to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're
Um,
supposed to be.
In our handbook, it doesn't say anything about GPA, it just talks about the graduation requirements.
Okay.
So we don't say anything about GPA whatsoever.
So neither principal weighed in on the blank line?
Nope, they didn't say anything about it.
Okay.
Well, how did we get a blank line when our original one didn't have a blank line?
Cause I pulled it from ISBA with the updates, remember we take it from the ISBA updates and then I just.
This is ISBA's policy.
Right, but we don't merge them, typically we
No, I
merge
did, I
the
just
two.
didn't merge that one part.
Oh, okay.
But it's not in our deal, it doesn't talk about the three. It just has the,
Okey doke. So.
So this is a procedure.
Yeah, this is the procedure.
the main reason why we brought this is they just wanted the US history changed from 2 to 3.
Correct. So students shall be expected to earn a total of how many credits?
46.
I was gonna say it's 46, isn't it?
So our old policy was 48, so we're going back to the minimum.
Well.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I just wanna make sure, 'cause
So,
this was actually
If we
the
say
conversation
46,
that-
that minimum
Oh,
of
you're right,
46
it's
doesn't need to be
48,
there.
she's right, it's 48.
Oh, it's
Okay.
48.
Sorry.
29, and then 9, 8, 1, 6. 6 is asterisk, okay, and then 2, 2, 2.
Remember we want social studies
And
to
then
be-
earned 8, okay, so where's the 1 and 2 from the old one?
What are you on?
So the old one, after that,
Mathematics.
yeah, so after math, they're, under the asterisks, 2 credits, oh, this is totally different. So the old one is 2 credits must be taken, blah, 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 and then there's a 1 and the 2. Earn 8 credit, that explains, the math, how you can arrive at these 6 required credits.
Okay. So is that language still, she's looking at our policy right now.
Are you under math or where are you?
Yeah.
She's under, mathematics.
I'm just trying to, compare the
Oh
two.
yeah, the one it cut off, I don't know, I'll add it in there. I don't know why it's not there. It
Yeah.
was-
Because the asterisk here for the computer science and then dual credit engineering is not the same as what's asterisk
Yeah,
on our
I don't know.
other one,
I'll
for
look-
math.
I'll add it in there.
And we might have to look at a gap if we're not, I mean, just to make sure we've got it correct. I mean, obviously, it looks like we're probably setting the standard a little bit higher,
We are.
which makes me wonder if we're raising this 6 credits, then our minimum's not gonna be 48, so we're increasing it by how many credits?
Just one.
1, so it'll be 49. I mean, our, So core instruction here should be 30.
Lisa said it was still, they wanted it to be, 29
But
and.
How can that be?
so
It doesn't add up.
This is the only change yet, so I'll ask if they're taking it off somewhere else or they're just upping it to 30. And neither of the high school principals caught it, so I'll find that out.
Yeah, cause it should add up.
Right, so I'll find out. I wonder if they're counting the extra as an elective, and so, cause you still have to have 19 electives, and so that's how they're counting it, which is why it's staying at 29. Did you still have your elective credits?
So health and wellness
No, that's
is-
still considered one. You have to have still 19.
No, is health and wellness an elective or is?
It's
okay.
considered
Then that should, if it's considered a, core, then it needs to change to 30.
okay.
And I think what happened, intentional or not, this is ISBA's model policy, we usually make the modifications around hours.
No.
So I think we may have just gotten mixed up.
Well, it's
Not a
not
big deal.
That's all.
It's not a fault issue.
No, it's not that, it's just, it's
Yeah.
all too many.
Doing too many things.
Yeah. Exactly.
On our plates.
We'll
Okay.
redo that part, but I'll ask
I
specifically.
mean, that's why we have the
for
meeting,
49.
so we can all make sure that we're
Yeah.
all on the same
Yes.
page.
That was when I was
Exactly.
showing you.
Okay.
Cause our eyeballs don't always work.
On page 4 under class rank, is that weighted or unweighted GPA?
Which page are you on? Which one are you on?
Page 4 of this that we're showing here,
On the district website or on the one you have in front of you?
the one that's up on the screen now.
Okay, go to page 4.
Class rank is compiled.
From
excuse me.
semester grades.
Yeah, of course it's not eligible for GPA or.
What
designated
classes
They
research.
get
do both, they
weighted?
actually do both. So it'll pull up and it'll have,
It
weighted and
shows both,
unweighted. It
but are
shows
they
both.
ranked? Are students ranked, right? Who's your
Mhm.
valedictorian, who's your, number
It's-
2, 3,
it's-
4?
It's, my understanding is it's ranked on your weighted GPA.
I was gonna
Weighted.
say it should be.
Cause a few years ago it wasn't.
Yeah,
It was
my
on
understanding
unweighted.
is it's based on your weighted. I do know that, we have a policy specific to how valedictorians are chosen and, in years past, we've had multiple valedictorians and I think the board agreed to allow for 2 at each
Yeah,
building, and so it says it in there specific to, I'm almost positive it's weighted.
So should we
GPA.
clarify that here? The class rank is
I
based
wanted
on
to see what
weighted?
the language actually says for valedictorian.
Yeah, that's a good idea. How many AP courses does Lakeland offer?
Or each,
Well, it's just, I thought it was just two.
Many of them are dual credit, not classified as AP,
Oh.
which is a better deal.
Good, yes.
Do what?
It's
You
good.
know that part that
It's
you don't
awesome.
like in
It's
the
great.
policy about the ceremony, there is a policy on participation in commencement exercises. So, you could put it there if you wanted to, just saying.
let's just take it out of here.
I'm glad you found that.
I don't know if the valedictorian is a policy or if it's just a procedure.
changes, I'm just thinking about this, Heritage Health, MOU. When was the date, do you remember what the date on the one is, are we gonna need to do that before the meeting?
What are you talking about?
The policy, or can we go ahead and implement it before? I guess we need to see what the vote was, or if there was a vote on that policy for the Heritage Health and all the, whatever we're calling it, mental health MOU.
Wait, what?
I'm wondering if we're going to need to get that to the board before the next meeting, or, I don't know when the actual expiration date is in August on the MOU. Do you know when that was?
July 31st.
Oh, okay, never mind, that answers
Okay.
my question. I don't think there's one out there for a valedictorian. It might, maybe it's in
It's a
some
procedure, I'm just trying to
somewhere.
find it. This isn't my realm as much.
Huh, there's nothing on here. So we'll have to add that language too.
You could have added in that
Yeah,
one instead.
2720.
Do you want me to merge those two?
Yes. Well, 2720. Take this
That
special
word.
little paragraph and stick it over here.
2700.
Yeah. Please. And thank you.
You're welcome. This is gonna bother me now 'cause I can't find the valedictorian piece.
So what we can do is, over here, we can just weighted.
Oh yeah, I was like, I knew it's somewhere.
Perfect.
Yeah, this, it says they look at, they take both the weighted and the unweighted. And then they look at AP classes and they look at all the dual credit classes. Because they can see both. I knew it was written somewhere else, but I did.
So it's not just weighted, it's overall.
They look at both.
Well then, should that language be part of this class, right?
Yeah,
That's
so
what's
they
in
know.
the handbook.
So what
They
does it
look at
say?
both. Do we wanna just pull, you want me to copy and?
That would be amazing.
The concern is in years past, they just looked at the unweighted and ignored the weighted.
Okay.
That seems
So-
strange.
Well, that's how it was. At least as recent as 2020, when my daughter graduated. So it was strictly looking at unweighted scores when there was students that had weighted scores that were higher, right? Cause they took all the dual credits. So
And the
is
issue
it
is if you're
That's
the
all.
kid that's taken, you know, calculus and physics and all of those hard courses, and then I'm the other one who I've taken some
Shop.
other, you
Hey,
know.
not the wrong shop.
And so,
Can you
same
shop?
amount of credits, meet all, but
Got
more
this.
rigorous AP classes versus general classes, and then I have an A versus an A minus, and so in a unweighted, it could have an impact versus a weighted, so.
Yeah, it was my understanding, like now Lakeland is they're looking at the weighted scores to calculate things, or they're incorporating the weighted scores, which in my mind, you're ranking based on weighted, right?
Well, and then they're
Cause that
looking at.
weighted also includes the unweighted.
Right. I'd never heard of doing it unweighted. Seems like a,
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Where did we put the policy where you guys said we're narrowing it down to 2? Like now I'm stuck on that, I can't get past it.
Okay, I just put the language.
I know, I'm adding it in right now.
Okay, thank you. That's a dig tag, I mean.
I just added it all in for you.
Oh, nice. Now you messed up my paragraph.
So sorry. Well, I'm not incomprehensive, but I'm really stuck on where we put now we're down to 2. Where did we put that language?
We put language that said now we're down to 2.
Remember, because they used to be able to have like 5 valedictorians and. instead
Oh,
of
yes,
using-
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, there was like
that.
12, it was crazy.
Valedictorian inflation.
I know we put it in a policy, it's
Yeah.
just not labeled valedictorian, so I can't
just-
find it.
Yeah. The one year when there was a mass amount of valedictorians,
Right.
it's like.
I wonder if making it unweighted made a tie more likely.
Possibly,
Yes.
but it was like,
Right.
it's such an honor, why would you minimize it by having 20 students be the
Because then they can put it on their application. That's
Whatever.
wrong.
But the parents have to listen to 20 speeches.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And not good
That's a-
speeches, by
that's
the
a long-
way.
that's a long commitment there. Come on, let's be positive.
I am. I think we should up the credits for speech and whatever it is. Public speaking.
I'm like, yeah.
500 degrees in there, on and on.
It's not working, I know we put it somewhere. I
Yeah,
just
because
can't
we did
find
have that
it.
conversation just because we were getting,
I was like, I know I'm not making this up, it's somewhere, just can't find it.
Lisa would probably remember, cause I think she was one of the ones that brought it. Maybe
You
she-
probably need a vacation, Lynn.
I'm looking to. But now I'm gonna perseverate, cause I can't
Or
find
an adult
it.
beverage.
I need something. Yeah, I have to find it now, it's gonna drive me crazy.
And you talked about it in a board meeting?
Yeah, we wrote it down though, we have somewhere where it talks about
Yeah.
narrowing down.
You might be able to do a search in previous
Yeah.
board minutes, I've done that when I couldn't find the policy.
You'd think the policy would be intuitive though.
Mhm.
Maybe it's something that was in the handbook.
No.
What's in the handbook?
Oh, it's not there? Cause I know there was a lot of changes with those, I don't know, I do remember the conversation, but I don't know, can't remember where.
Yeah, 'cause I found our old, expectations, I just can't find. It's just gonna bother me now.
Class rank will be based on service to school and community.
Oh, no, that's for.
It's pretty subjective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Isn't it?
for valedictorian.
Oh, okay.
Cause that's where this language came from.
Oh, okay. Probably kill that.
And the rigor of the coursework too.
Right.
That's not included, or is it?
Well, that's,
Oh, it
that's in
is.
the weighted
Part
and
of it.
unweighted, isn't it?
Oh, that's
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes away too.
Double period.
It's emphasized.
Right, we wanna make sure that's
Very
that
over.
stands.
But one of our norms is that we are gonna end on time, so I'm gonna
Yep.
cut us off. Because obviously my brain's not functioning and we're gonna be done.
We're good.
When is the next meeting?
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Mo, how's retired life?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah. Yeah. We just got back from Alaska, went up there and then
You guys are married?
Oh, wow.
I think that.
Yeah.
It was a week they got back from Alaska?
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, yes, I do.
went up there, her grandfather passed away, so